Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Lewis Speaks 2021, and today I want to talk to you about a very, very difficult topic. I want to talk to you about dying alone. If you ask people who are currently in relationship if their partner is their first choice, a lot of them will say that their current partner is not their first choice. A lot of people chose their partners for financial reasons. A lot of people chose their partners because they got pregnant and decided to try and live the American dream. A lot of people chose their partners for this idealistic version of a life they hope to have. But many people are in relationships right now that are relationships of convenience and relationships that are functional, not so much romantic. And I think a lot of people are also afraid of dying alone. And so they consent to being in relationships with other people who they know they really are not in love with, who they know they genuinely don't want to be with. They agree to these relationships because they just don't want to die alone. I am a single man, and yesterday when I came back from the airport after a trip from Miami coming back home, I ordered an Uber and it took so long to come. And when it finally did arrive, I knew the feeling of feeling taken care of. That feeling of knowing someone's waiting for you, knowing someone shows up for you, and it's a good feeling. It's a good feeling. And when I came in the door, I came home to a silence that was almost deafening. And a lot of people are afraid of that silence. Personally, I'm not afraid of it. I welcome it. Because all my life I spent trying to please other people and make them happy. So that silence is now a gift that I give myself. But for a lot of people, that silence is unbearable. They cannot bear the thought of basically coming home to an empty apartment and being by themselves. So what they do to alleviate that feeling, they take on so many different relationships. A lot of people get lost in the relationship merry-go-round. They distract themselves by throwing themselves into these meaningless relationships. Or some people just get married to people who they really don't care for like that, but it's better than being by themselves. I know in the gay community, the biggest fear besides turning 30 is dying alone. A lot of gay men fear dying alone. And I'm asking myself, why do people fear that? They fear that because when you're alone, here's the reality. I'm going to paint a very real picture here. When you're alone and people know that you're alone, they treat you like persona non grata. They treat you like you don't exist. They treat you like you're invisible. They treat you like you don't matter. I see the way they treat older people who are in hospitals and in nursing homes. If they don't have visitors to come see them, those people are ignored. They're invisible to medical staff. No one cares, really, because they deem that, hey, no one comes to check up on you, so why do we have to really care? And so you oftentimes find people who have no family, older ones who have no family, they are often treated badly. They are mistreated, in fact. They're at risk of elder abuse. They are at risk of poor medical care. They're seen as a bother. And a lot of people are afraid of being treated this way. So they get into these relationships just to have someone there to advocate for them, just to have someone there who can grocery shop. Because we move beyond the point in this generation of love. Now it's just to the point of, will you be able to move my car when I'm in the hospital? Or will you be able to, cook my meals when I am unable to do so for myself? It's more functional. It's just based on necessity as opposed to genuine romance. And I think that's why a lot of people just agree to relationships and situationships with people that they really don't like, because it's just better than being by yourself, you know? And so I say we really need to face that fear. We really need to come to terms with the fear of dying alone and what it means. For one, we also need to come to terms with death. You know, death and life are two peas in the same pod. In a way, life informs death and death informs life. You know, death teaches you that things do have an end. And so you have to make the most of your life. You can't waste your life worried about what other people think of you. You can't waste your life worrying about trying to please and make other people happy so that way they like you and want to be with you. You can't worry about that, because you only get a certain amount of time on this earth before you have to check out. And so you need to remember, you know, to really, really do what brings honor to your great Creator, but also at the same time, do what brings honor to yourself and what brings you joy. True joy, healthy, honest joy. Because like I said, death does inform life, and life also informs death. You know, knowing that you have a limited time on the earth, you have to get things done. You know, and this is a morbid conversation that people don't want to have. A lot of people avoid this conversation because they feel that it's depressing or it's a downer. But sometimes, as Ecclesiastes says, the Bible book of Ecclesiastes, you have to enter into the house of mourning, because it is in this house of mourning where most of your insights come from, where most of your resolves, you know, to really fully live. You know, you can't waste your life in relationships that are toxic. I realize that a better portion of people's lives are being wasted in relationships that are hell. They spend 10 and 20 years, that is a chunk out of your life, agonizing over somebody, crying over somebody. And then you wake up one day and you wonder where the time went. Well, here's where it went. It went on investing in a sinking relationship. So don't waste your time in toxic relationships. Learn how to identify the signs early and get the hell out. That's one. Now let's go back to this fear of dying alone. You know, people fear not having family or not having resources or being in a vulnerable position. The thing about it is this: we are all protected by a divine source. We will be all right. There is an abundance out there holding you, making sure you're good, nurturing you. You also can make some, like practically, let's talk practical. It's up to you to make provisions for yourself. As a single man, I know that I have to make certain provisions because I don't have those certain resources that I need. I have certain family members, but the way the world is going, everybody is so inconsistent. You won't be able to rely on the people that you really are supposed to be able to depend on in your hour of need. Knowing that, I make sure that I have certain resources in play. So that way, I can definitely relax should anything happen. And you have to make sure that you have, especially while you're healthy, while you're robust, you have to make sure that you get your ducks in a row and that you have a support, a safety net, and one that you make. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, as I mentioned earlier, the way the world is going today, people are not reliable. Everybody is inconsistent. They're selfish. They're looking out for self. They want to basically, if you're not doing anything for them, they don't have no time for you. That's why a lot of people, they pay for outside help. They throw money at the situation because they realize that it's easier than having to beg, borrow, steal from your family and friends, supposed friends. Nah, you have to rely on yourself. And so having that safety net that you create, making those preemptive plans now is crucial. Because like I said, it's about loving on yourself. And you're not alone in the world. You have yourself. And you are enough. You are more than enough. And I know a lot of people, let's be realistic, you're going to need assistance. We all need help. We all need people in our life. And no matter how many times we try to act as though we don't need anybody, we really do need each other. We really do. But the thing about it is this, most importantly, besides another human being, you need God. Because God is the one who motivates people to take action. Left to their own recognizance and their own initiative, people will leave you hanging every time, but it is God that puts his spirit into them and that activates them to assist you. It is him that makes people move. Because people on their own, that's why you got to stay prayed up. You got to stay prayed up, having conversations with God on the regular. Pour out your heart and your soul to him because he will help. He is the only one that can help. At this point, I realize that human beings, they can't help you. We've tried every human government known to man. They can't help. They tried, but it always leads to one imbalance after the other. They fix one problem and then create another problem. So it's always some imbalance. With God, when you pray to him and he rains down his blessings, it may take a while and he may not come when you call him, but he ain't never late. He ain't never late. And from personal experience, I can say this with certainty because my last move, I was so unsure as to what I would do. I didn't know what I would do. I didn't have no friends that showed up. I called 4 people. 4 people. Out of those 4 people, only one showed up, and that one person showed up 2 hours late. But at the same time, I didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't know what I was going to do. And God made a way. He made a way. You know, moving objects, I was able to move a lot of things independently and pack up the truck. And you know something, I realized at that moment that God is a way maker and that prayer works. I also realized that human beings are so inconsistent and unreliable. You cannot trust them. You know, from one day to the next, you don't know what they're going to do. They're too unpredictable. And in your life, you definitely need people that are going to be there. And the one who is going to be there for you when everyone else lets you down is your Heavenly Father. So in terms of this myth of dying alone, no. You will not die alone. You have your Heavenly Father. You have yourself. That's why I don't say I'm alone. I'm with myself. I'm not by myself. No, I'm with myself. Because you are with you. And I tell you, that's the greatest gift that you can give to yourself. This understanding that you are with yourself. So I hope that this was helpful for those out there who are watching. And I hope that you begin to really just face those fears. Really look them dead in the eye and look them square in the eye and say they have no power over you. You are good. You are protected by a divine force so powerful, so mighty, so majestic and magnificent. You don't have to worry. All you have to do is keep your heart clean and open, so that way it's ready to receive all of the blessings that await. So I hope this was helpful to you, and I wish you a wonderful, wonderful day. Peace.